your marketing questions and help you make sense of all of these ever-changing digital marketing tactics, tools, trends. So to help you separate what works from the shiny objects. And today we're going to be talking about all of this applied to your promotional product business. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Gloria Lafont, and I started in marketing in the late 80s in the glory days of direct mail. And it was fascinating to me how all the targeting, the messaging, the results tracking, it was just something that I love to see in action. And that's before the internet days. So, and I've been working in different aspects of marketing for many years as a consultant since then. And I happened to work in the development of a website for the first time for a client in 1999. And I didn't actually do the programming of it, but I did do all the planning of all the pages, how it was going to flow, and I created all the content and all of that stuff. So I've been around, I guess. So anyway, in 2008, at the time where the economy was kind of went downhill, I had just completed a fairly large project that kept me busy for about 5 years, and so I decided to open my promotional product distributorship. And I have been a buyer before that, and I know the industry, I knew it from the buyer standpoint, and I thought it was fun and creative. I loved it. So it went really well, but I always sort of kept working with a group of consulting clients, and that also grew. And so about a year ago, I decided to fully change directions and settle in the full service agency space and just work with the small type, small, medium-sized type businesses because I'm kind of more of a strategist and a creative concept type of person. So I've sort of scaled down my promotional product end of the business and just kept a group of, small group of clients that I'm servicing, but not growing that at all. So I've assembled a great team over time, very knowledgeable in all of their areas. So we can provide very focused services, to help small businesses not to be all over the place with their marketing, which seems to be a common problem these days with so many options out there. So anyway, enough about me. And I would love for you to connect. So here's my contact information, social media. Please do connect with me. I would love that. Okay, so let's just get started with the questions. The first question, is it worth the time? Benefits of blogging. And what you would be achieving with blogging would be the main big thing would be to position yourself as a promotional product expert in your marketplace or an apparel expert in your marketplace. This blogging would help you position yourself in that way. And we've all heard that we live in the era of information, and we've all heard this, content is king, and it may sound like a cliche, but believe me, it's totally true because search drives everything today. Everything is about that. We Google everything. So when people are searching and sharing, you do want to be in the middle of that. So that is the big benefit of blogging, to position yourself as an expert. Now, the next question is, how do you get, it's about getting started, what are the first steps? So the first step is, there's 3 things you have to do before you even start writing anything, okay? So the very first thing is to determine your target audience. And this is kind of, what you ask your clients, right? Who is your target audience? And this is exactly what you have to ask yourself. Now, when you do this, you want to go deeper than just the basics, such as, industry and title and that kind of stuff. You want to go into more detail, including, like what is a day in their lives like, who is their boss? Do they have several layers of bosses? Who work under them? vendors they deal with, what are the responsibilities, and do they have to go on the field, that kind of stuff you want to kind of identify. And for this, I'm sure you have at least one ideal client, that's somebody that you absolutely love to work with. One of those that gives you, repeat orders, and each order is really large, and those are awesome clients. So though you would pick one of those and kind of describe that person in as much detail as possible, and you would list all of this. You would have this in writing. So, and you're probably going to have more than one segment. And so you want to do one for each segment, but you start with one and then you kind of continue and do the rest, but you get started that way. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to figure out what information will help them do their job better as it relates to your products and services. In other words, you want to think about what will make their lives easier, but in terms of the services you provide, not in general. So you would make a list of questions they ask you and issues they have that you help them with. And I'm sure you can think of a few of these because you kind of handle this every day, right? Then the next thing that is very important is, what are people typing into browsers to find that information, the information that I was talking about before, right? Now, for example, sometimes we think that people are calling things one way, but they're really actually calling them in a different way, and you want to talk in their terms. So, for example, for this you would use a free tool that Google provides. It's called Google Planner, Google Keyword Planner. What that does is you type in, for example, reusable bags, and it will give you a bunch of results as far as different combinations using those words and also similar words. And you will see what people are typing on the search engines, on the browsers when they're looking for that, and that will give you the topics, and that will give you what you have to write about if you were to write about reusable bags, for example. So this is a very valuable tool that helps a great deal, because if you match what people are looking with inside your content, then this is going to help you show up when they're actually looking. Your article will come up on Google, and people will find something that they're looking for. So it helps in both ways. So this is how you start before you even start to blog. Then, of course, you need to choose a platform. And here's a question regarding that. What is the best platform or service for hosting, and why? Excellent question, because there are a number of options out there. Now, these are some that are the most popular. You have Weebly, which is relatively new, very easy to set up, very nice looking, modern looking, responsive. So you have Weebly.com, WordPress.com, Blogger, Tumblr, and then WordPress.org. All of these except WordPress.org are extremely easy to set up, and they host their own platforms, their own things, so you don't even have to worry about hosting. So the one that we recommend, the absolute best, is, in our opinion, of course, WordPress.org. WordPress.org would be the commercial grade. So if you're going to do this for business and you want to do this for the long term, you want something that is going to grow with you and is going to hold whatever you want to do. So the reason why this is the best is because it has a wide variety of add-ons or plugins that people write programs to work with this WordPress, and easy to install, so you can add a lot of different functionality that you want. It also has integration with many other systems that you might be using. Or it also has a ton of benefits when it comes to SEO, as far as optimizing each of your posts, your pages, and everything. So it really is very flexible. The others have a little bit, but very limited. This is really where you will get the most opportunity to optimize your pages. and also the way that you can track and install Google Analytics on it. The others also offer some analytics reports, but this one, it goes really a lot deeper into all that. So maybe when you're starting out, you're thinking, maybe I don't need all that, I'm not going to use that. But as you start to write and the whole thing starts to grow and evolve, if you want to change, then it's going to be kind of not very easy. In fact, you may have to actually rewrite all the posts. So those are things you have to consider, you know. Okay. Now, besides the platform, you're going to need a place to host it. And the hosting that we recommend is a especially made for WordPress that bigger companies like GoDaddy, which is the one we use and recommend, they provide. And it's a hosting that is specially made for WordPress in the sense that they take care of backups, updates, and scanning the website. So if there's an issue, they fix it. So it gives you a lot of security and that you don't have to worry about, because it used to be the case that you have to do updates on the WordPress platform, and if you don't, then vulnerability may be there. You know, a lot of people can get their websites hacked. So this avoids all that problem. You don't have any headaches at all. That's what we like, that one. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. What are the costs involved? Okay, so if all of these here that we saw before, these here are all free. Weebly and WordPress have a paid upgrade where you can install your own domain, because in the free level, you're going to have weebly.com and wordpress.com in the name, and then /forward your business. And that, of course, doesn't brand you, and you are branding them. And besides that, you're not going to rank anywhere with a blog that doesn't have your own URL and your own domain. So they upgrade, they offer the upgrades where you can put your own, and I think for WordPress.com is about $18 or something like that. It's very, very inexpensive. Okay, so then if you want to go with WordPress.org, the cost that you must incur, yes or yes, is the hosting, which is about $80 a year, maybe $79 or something, but it's around that. And then you're going to need a template, and there is enough free templates available that you can choose from. And usually, if all you're going to do is blog, you're not going to do your website, just the blog, and a free template will be sufficient. And the good thing about this is that if later on you want to get something fancier looking, you can go ahead and buy a template, and you don't lose anything. You change the templates, and all of your content is there. You don't lose it, which is wonderful. So when you're talking about a template, a paid template, for example, a company called Elegant Themes, and it's about $80 a year or something like that. And they give you, I don't know, a bunch of templates that you can choose. So it's, as you can see, it's not something that is very prohibitive or anything like it. And then if you want to add functionality, there is, a bunch of plugins. Some that are really good that we always use are like extra security, and also SEO, and SEO plugin that as you're writing, you can check for optimization and optimize it, and it helps. It's very, very helpful, because you're writing and then you pick the key terms that you want to optimize it for, and it will really tell you where, how to fix it. So it's really, really useful. So some are free, some are paid. The ones I just mentioned are free, and sometimes companies that have events and they need to handle booking and things like that, they may need more sophisticated functionality that they can add through plugins. Okay, so then the other option is to go as a done for you kind of setup, where somebody, a service provider would set up your blog and get it all ready to go, and all you do is just, log in and start typing. In that case, you're looking at probably around $250. That's what our company charges. So that'll give you an idea of your cost. So the only cost that you must incur is the hosting. Everything else depends on how you want to go about it. So, okay, so let's go on to the next question. Okay, so technical issues that may come up. And we all hate technology sometimes, right? It could really be not our friends. And honestly, I can't see of any technical issues that may come up. Um, if you are not savvy at all and you want to have somebody else set it up for you and you start typing, you're very unlikely that you'll run into any kind of issues. And if you do have problems one day for some reason, they changed something, they made a change and you're not aware, who knows, you call GoDaddy and they will totally help you, walk you through it and fix it sometimes. So it's something that I can't even think of what kind of technical issues you would have. So the next question. Okay, now we go into topics. So this was a very good question because yes, if you have a diverse customer base, how do you know what you're going to write about and who do you write for, and do you have several blogs? So to answer this question, which is kind of like when we're going to start to write, we go back to the first steps that we were talking about before. Once we have done this exercise, that we have identified our target audience and we know their problems, their issues, their challenges, and then we also know what information is that we provide them with that they appreciate, and what are they typing, these are going to conform the topics. So once we have this, we make a list of different things that the issues that we want to have referring to our audience and things like that. So because even though your audience might be diverse, you will find a lot of things in common that they have. If they have to organize an event, they have similar concerns and similar issues that they have to deal with, whether it be approvals of orders or artwork that is not ready or timelines. So they all have certain things that are similar. So in any event, you would make a list so that you know what topics, how to select the topics, and so you would list questions they ask, situations you see in the discussion group are really great because when somebody posts an issue that they're having, that issue is also the client is also suffering the same thing. So they make great topics to develop. Also, if you attend an event and you really love the way they controlled the attendance and the registrants, you can write about that, what a great idea that was and how that worked really well. Or if you didn't like it because it was a mess, you can also write about how, the missed opportunity. Ordering issues you run into, and you would include in that list, events that your clients hold or participate I'm talking community events now, like for example, they may support a school or they may do a walk or who knows, that kind of stuff. And then also, how they use the products they order. That would include in that list. And then events in your area. For example, if there's in your area, there is a special event that goes every year, like a festival or something, then that makes a great topic because you're going to talk about how everybody's preparing for that, and if you're going to be one of the people at the booths or whatever. So that gives you excellent material. So basically, once you have your list of things that you can write about, you turn that into topics, and you would, for example, write an article about 5 things to consider when you're ordering t-shirts for a walk, or how to order polo shirts for your staff, for your restaurant staff if you have a lot of clients in restaurants, or car service shop if you have a lot of clients in that area. So you get the idea. And also, then that's how you would write about that it would be something that it would be relevant for pretty much all of your clients. Okay, so then the next thing, we have another question about, that's a good one, using other sources without getting into copyright issues, right? And the answer is very simple. You could totally use other people's articles and things you find there. You just have to name the source. Make sure you name the source. You know, for example, as published in Inc. magazine, this, and that. And you could also include the link to the original article, which is an excellent practice. And also, you can write, you know, a little brief about your point of view with respect to whatever it is, you know, that's being discussed. So that's kind of, well, that will take care of it. So that's good. Okay, so now the next question is about social media integration. How do you maximize the blog so it gets shared, you know, and sharing and all that to social media? So the good news is that you can integrate your social media pages to WordPress. So when you publish a blog post, it is automatically pushed onto social media. You don't have to do anything at all. And then in between, whatever you want to post, you use tools like Hootsuite, Buffer, where you schedule. You can kind of sit there one day and do all your posts for the week and schedule them. Also, Facebook lets you schedule directly. So that's how you kind of make best use of your time instead of having to go every day and do it. Now, there are other tools as far as to gather content and to organize your content. There's a ton of tools. And in fact, we have on our website somewhere, we have a list of resources to help you with your content and all that. You can go and download a list of resources. I think we called it for social media, but they definitely apply to blogging also. Okay, next question is, would you put the same information in the blog that you would put in social media? I think we kind of already covered that, and of course the answer is absolutely yes. And I want to add that that's absolutely the point. When you want to promote your content, when you post a new article, you totally want to promote it in as many places as you can, because that's going to generate traffic to your website. So in fact, you want to be dividing all your posts into little snippets that you post on your social media pages at different times with a link. That way you get a lot of mileage out of even old posts that are still relevant. Because if you wrote a great article about how to order bags and how to decide, that's going to still be applicable a year later. So you could, you know, repost it on all your social media outlets anyway, and that's going to generate traffic. Okay, so the next question is, how do you know if people are reading, right? At the beginning, it does feel like you're writing for the wall, and nobody's reading that. So it's like, you know, what's the point, right? But yes, there is a an easy way to see what's going on, and that's called analytics. And I had asked you if you had analytics installed, and most of you said either no or don't know. And I have to tell you, this is free, so you have to have that installed in your website. It's a tracking code that Google gives you. Again, it is free, and it gives you a wealth of information. So, okay, so this is for one of our clients, an example here that I have. This shows, in this example, this lists pages that people went and clicked on, right? So in this case, we see this one right here has 95 sessions and 129 page views. So this is the home page, and it has two, and these are other posts. So here you would come and look at your analytics report, and you would see what kind of activity it's having. That's how you can tell. Besides this particular view, you could also see, this is another report that you have through Google Analytics, which gives you a wealth of information, like I said. So in this case, we want to see how people got into the website. Like, this is the homepage. These are the people that came in through the homepage. These are people who came in through this post. So we have 139 visitors that came in to the website through that post, not through the homepage, because we tend to think that everybody's going to go to the homepage and then to the rest of the places, and not always. If you have a blog, you know, active blog, they could come in from any place. So anyway, in this case, they came in through here, and then they went and they had 2 interactions. In this case, you could see other places that they went and went, you know, from here, they went to here. So that kind of information is what you could get from Google Analytics. Another place that you can see how your posts are doing is your Facebook page. If you post to Facebook, on your Facebook page, on the navigation at the top, there is an Insights tab. If you go to the Insights tab, it'll take you to a screen that looks like this, and it shows all the posts. This is for a client of ours, and in this case, in here, you see how many people saw it. Then here, the blue is the amount of likes, and the pink is the amount of clicks. So this client at this point had about 300 fans on his page. So for somebody that has 300 fans and has 144 exposure to their post, 141, 125, 27, that is really good, because we're talking almost 50%. So that is excellent. So, you know, some of these are posts to his website. Like this shows a link here. Those are posts to his website. Links, I mean. So in this case, he got 3, here he got 8, he got 4. So this is another place where you would see what happened. Then this is yet another place. It's directly inside of WordPress. It shows you the activity, and then they have another screen where you could actually see the posts. It isn't as accurate or not accurate. It isn't as, you know, wide in their analysis. It's kind of limited, but it gives you an idea. Okay, now next question: how do you get followers? The way you get followers is by posting and sharing and promoting your content. And the more you post, the more chances you have to get followers and people interested in your topics. And also, you know, sometimes you get people to subscribe if they're interested, and they start to follow. Every time you post something, they automatically receive the new post without you having to do anything at all either. So those are ways of getting more followers. Okay, so next we have the last set of questions that didn't really fall into any category, but they were kind of good questions anyway, and besides, I'm answering all of the questions. So let's see, we have, how often do you need to blog? I would say that ideally once a week. If you can't once a week, then at least every other week, and at the very, very, very least once a month. Anything less than once a month is too sporadic. And if you can make yourself do it, you know, once a week, or kind of set that as a goal, that would be excellent, because it keeps your website fresh, it keeps new content coming in, it keeps people interested. Okay, next question. Is showing comments a good practice? Okay, this is something that I think is totally dependent on each case. When you have a blog and you have contents open, you want to be able to first approve the content before it actually gets on there, because there is a lot of spam. You have no idea how some people just post, I don't know, they use programs to kind of read if there is a form to just post their Viagra advertisements. So usually if you're going to show your comments, if you want to kind of have people make comments and you want to have that open, you're going to have to go in and review your comments and approve them or delete them depending on what it is, right? So it will be a little bit more work. So for some clients, they're closed. I don't allow any comments. For others, it's still open because we want to kind of encourage them. So it depends. There is no rule about that, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so then the next question, would it make sense to pay for regularly provided content? Well, my clients think so. And the thing is that all of this takes time. So if you want to build your online presence, you're going to have to put the time into it. And you're going to have to set time aside. And for me, I decided, I tried different times of the day and different ways, and nothing really seemed to work until I set aside time during the weekend. So early in the morning, either Saturday or Sunday, I will just sit in front of my computer and start, doing my post for the week. And this I have been able to stick to it because I make it a priority, and I know that Saturday morning or Sunday morning I will do this. I will get this done. So again, it's a priority. But if you don't have the time, you don't have the inclination, you don't have, so and it also depends on where your business is, what stage your business is. If you're in growth mode, then you have to make this a priority. You have to build your online presence. You have to have marketing systems in place, because if you're not growing and having, building your online presence, like I said, you just don't stand a chance. You're not going to be able to compete. And it's becoming more and more difficult for distributors to compete. So building your online presence, just like in any other industry, it is something that you must do if you want to grow. So, and that may mean having to hire, an outsource to get this done. Okay, so well, that's it. We've gone through all the questions, and I thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it, and I sincerely hope this has been useful for you. And do connect with me on social media and send me all your questions that you may have for the next workshop. And I hope to see you next time. And that's it. Thank you and take care.